Ever think you'd hear Katharine Hepburn and Charlie Sheen mentioned in the same sentence? One movie connects both these actors, and it's not just because of the villains.
What are you talking about?
The Germans.
It all has to do with the time Clint Eastwood did a Huston. Not once, but twice.
You're kidding me.
In 1990, Eastwood made two films that couldn't be further apart. One was a daring biopic, White Hunter, Black Heart. Loosely, but unmistakably, based on legendary director John Huston and his near mental breakdown while shooting the classic The African Queen. The other was The Rookie, an all-out cops and robbers actioner featuring the biggest action scenes Eastwood had ever been a part of.
You all right?
White Hunter, Black Heart was one of Eastwood's riskiest roles. It was one of the few times he actually put on an accent, portraying the larger-than-life Huston. In the film, Huston is renamed John Wilson, but make no mistake, it's Huston, loud and clear.
Cut. Well, isn't that something?
The legendary director was the man behind classics like The Maltese Falcon, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, The Misfits, The Man Who Would Be King, and The Unforgiven. But not that Unforgiven. Huston's towering personality loomed just as large off screen as on screen, so Eastwood taking on this role was a gutsy move.
I think you've got to grow. You've got to reach out, and you've got to keep expanding. If you don't, you lose your flexibility, and you become rigid, and rigidity is near the end.
At first, Eastwood's accent feels a bit jarring. It's just not what you're used to hearing from him.
I'm not going to make some fake, crappy mess just to please you.
But after a few minutes, you're fully on board. The film, based on Peter Vertel's book of the same name, uses pseudonyms for the main players in The African Queen. The two leads are thinly veiled versions of Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn. George Desinder portrays legendary producer Sam Spiegel, while Jeff Fahey plays a version of Vertel himself. Some, including Hepburn, who released her own book on the making of The African Queen, disputed the authenticity of Eastwood's film. One thing no one disputes, Huston was indeed obsessed with shooting an elephant, to the point of relocating the film shoot from Kenya to the Belgian Congo to obtain a hunting license. The first half of the film is a lot of fun, as Wilson wreaks havoc in British colonial Entebbe. He humiliates an anti-Semitic socialite, loses a fistfight with a racist hotel manager, and generally terrorizes anyone with a British accent. The film doesn't shy away from depicting the colonial attitudes of the time, and I think Huston himself would have approved.
Doesn't that make you long for the dark continent?
The tone darkens in the second half, as Wilson's obsession takes over. Eastwood delivers some of his best acting here, as the fun gives way to some real unease.
It's not a crime to kill an elephant. It's bigger than all that.
One reassuring note for animal lovers, Huston never did shoot an elephant. He wisely stuck to shooting the movie instead.
Let's get rolling, man.
Why the hell not?
Eastwood only agreed to make The Rookie if the studio would finance White Hunter, Black Heart.
Thanks.
By 1990, he was used to making these kinds of deals with them.
To write a movie, you must forget that anyone's ever going to see it.
Well, you're going to make damn sure nobody ever sees this one.
White Hunter, Black Heart received positive reviews and was even entered into the Cannes Film Festival. But financially, it bombed, taking in only $2 million.
This pig has cheated me out of $2 million in cash.
Ultimately, it seems audiences weren't ready to see Clint go all method in a film with niche appeal. But it's one of my top 3 favourite Clint Eastwood performances. And just 2 years later, he'd get both critical and commercial redemption with Unforgiven. Surprisingly, when I met Clint 10 years later, I discovered that the two Hollywood titans never in fact met. Huston passed away in 1987, and you'd think their paths would have crossed at some point. Maybe it was because of their opposing political ideologies, but it's still baffling. In any case, it seems Clint enjoyed playing Huston so much that he stayed in character for a whole year.
Nick, there must be 100 good reasons why you shouldn't smoke those things.
But right now, I can't think of one.
His character, Pavlovsky in The Rookie, is practically Huston with a badge and a gun.
This is a crackdown.
Both characters have a way with the ladies. Take brutal beatings, love their cigars, hate authority,
You son of a bitch.
and of course, love shooting things. The movie, of course, paired Clint with Hollywood bad boy Charlie Sheen, who even back then was pretty bad. At the time, he was riding high with the success of Young Guns, Major League, and Hot Shots. So expectations were high. The film featured the largest ratio of stuntmen to actors ever on a film set. And that includes Where Eagles Dare, or as Eastwood famously dubbed, Where Doubles Dare. It's not that The Rookie is bad. If you set your expectations low, it's a really enjoyable ride.
Fasten your seatbelt.
It's just that expectations back in 1990 were high, and critics and the box office were not kind.
Flattery will get you nowhere.
Some of the main criticism was aimed at the casting decision of the two German baddies. The late great Raul Julia and Sonia Braga were of Latina descent, and they weren't bad. Critics just felt that there were plenty of German actors around who could have at least had more authentic accents. But maybe they'd never seen Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay.
The biggest controversy was perhaps the rape of Pavlovsky by the Sonia Braga character, Liesel.
She did not sit on my face.
Accent aside, she was pretty good in the film. She reminded me a lot of Barbara Carreira's impressive turn as Fatima Blush in Never Say Never Again.
Spread your legs.
In the end, despite all the impressive action scenes, The Rookie was both a critical and financial disappointment. Although not anywhere near as disappointing a flop as White Hunter, Black Heart.
I don't think this picture is going to make $100 million, and I don't think Clint Eastwood cares.
But if this high-octane action flick was the price we had to pay for one of Eastwood's most compelling performances, it was well worth it.
I'll have contributed maybe 5, 10 damn good pictures. They'll name a Special Academy Award for me.
The next 15 years of his career will prove to be his most lucrative yet, both in front and behind the camera. And it all started with his channeling of Huston.
I only make films that interest me, and in the hopes that they will interest other people being like me, or my being like others.
Action.